Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. My name's Jason Newland. Did I already say that? I don't know. I kind of go on automatic when I do this introduction. So, for those who have never either watched my Let Me Bore You to Sleep videos on YouTube or listened to my Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast, which I've been doing since March 2018. So it'll be 7 years and a couple of months. It is kind of what it says on the box, kind of. Well, it doesn't have a box. It's not in a box, is it? But it's just me talking. That's it, really. I'm trying to get the lighting right, and it's not right. So if the lighting's not great, then yeah, oh well. Sorry. I'll look to improve it. The thing is, the light over there is now over there. No, it's now over there because it was too buzzy. So I did a recording called Face Scan earlier today, and I could hear it. It was faint, very faint. Probably wouldn't hear it if you were listening with music. And I listened to the recording myself, and it sent me to sleep. So hey, it couldn't have been a terrible recording. But I could hear it. Maybe it's me being too picky, too fussy, too, but I could hear it. So now I've got a different light over there. It's one of those ring lights where you can actually put the camera in the middle. But the problem with that, because I'm a goggle wearer, all you can see when I do that is the things in my eyes or in the glasses. And yeah, if it wasn't for that, I could do a recording without my glasses. If I did without my glasses, I suppose I could do it without my glasses. I struggle to open my eyes. But it would be, yeah, I could, but I would need to, my eyes would get tired. If I didn't have my glasses on, I'd be closing my eyes a lot. Although I do that anyway, especially when I'm in bed. No, but I do, not so much when I'm making these recordings. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to Boston Chicky for your comment on YouTube. I haven't replied yet, but to say thank you for your kind words about the face scan that I did. Did you see that thing just float down? I wonder what that was. It's snowing indoors. So it's Saturday. I don't know what day of the week it is. Well, no, what day it is. I don't know what the date is. Is it either the 17th or the 18th? I think it's the 17th. No, it's the 18th today. Because it was the 17th yesterday, I think. And I've been testing out this new setup. So I've got a new setup anyway that I've talked about in the past. Recently, where I've got the two desks side by side in front of me here, the TV on top, but it's against the wall. Not right against the wall, but it's it's only taken up probably a third of the space of the actual desk. So there's still plenty of room on the desks for stuff. And I'm still in the process of tidying up. What that really means is I'm just not tidying anything up. But I will. Gradually bits are getting picked up. It's just a few bits and bobs and I just need to get it sorted. So I will do this week. Now that I've got it on record and I'm recording the mess in the background. Although, what I could do if I wanted to, I could put a false background on. Or, what I thought about doing, and I'm excited about this as you can see, maybe putting a curtain across. Just a curtain, like a yellow curtain behind me. So, and with maybe a sign, let me boy to sleep. And maybe I'd do another curtain for the relax and sleep hypnosis daily, or just, put a different sign up for each curtain. That's something that I thought about doing about 10 years ago. No, probably longer. Wow. In fact, it's something that I did do. Blimey, I forgot about that. Wow. I actually did do that. I used to live in the basement, the dungeon, I like to call it, but it was underground. It was before I moved here. And the room was kind of long, not long, but it was very thin. It's very thin, but it's very much length rather than girth. And so it's kind of bay windows, and my desk would be in the window, and then there'd be a chair in front of the desk, like a sitting down chair, not a sitting at a table chair, although I think I did have one of them as well. And then behind the chair was my bed. That was the only way the bed could be. It couldn't be the other way because it wasn't big enough. The room wasn't big enough. And then there was probably a couple of foot, and that was the end of that room. And then inside another room is the kitchenette, where there was a sink and some couple of cabinets and desktop. So desktop, in the kitchen. And I had a punch bag in there as well. So I managed to fit a punch bag, so that was all right. Just one of those standy up ones. I've got one here as well. I'm actually on my third one now. The last 3 places other than one, I've had a punch bag. So when I was at university, had one, left that in the garden. Then I moved, didn't have one there for a year. Then I moved again, had one there for 3 years or whatever. Left that in the garden as well when I moved. Why? Why didn't I bring it with me? And then I got the one I got here. It's not going to be a recording about punch bags, although I could. I could do a Sleepy Boring Objects about punch bags. And I just heard that light click. It's not going to be completely silent whatever I do. There's going to be him sneezing, running around and doing stuff. And you just had your dinner, Vin. You're going to have to just chill out. I'll do this recording, and then I'll take him, OUT. Then I'm going to cook myself a pizza, and I'm going to watch some boxing. Yeah, that's my plan for tonight, because it's now, it's gone 7 already, but it's okay. The boxing starts at 7:30. Even if I don't get to start watching it till 8 or 7:30, I'll just fast forward through it until just, miss out the bits where they're just chatting and adverts and whatever stuff was going on. So I'll do that. And I should probably be in bed by 11. If I watch the boxing until 11, I might go to bed early at 10. I'm not sure, but 11. I might not have a pizza. I might have a sandwich, toasted sandwich. Like, I'm not sure. Have some water though. Well, you want some water? You don't. I know you don't. I poured some water on him the other day, just like there's a game. That was the wrong thing to do. He's sworn revenge. I mean, literally, I wasn't doing it to upset him. Just like, well, let's play. And no, he wouldn't come near me for about 3 hours. So yeah, I won't be doing that again. Or will I? No, I won't. He's a good boy. He still woke me up early this morning for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think he gets bored because he's in bed. He sleeps a lot of the day. It doesn't get. I mean, I take him out a few times a day, but it's still not probably that stimulating for him. So I mean, I was talking about there's a couple of dog walkers, and there's a few issues with really large dogs around here that are off the lead, or maybe being aggressive towards the little dogs. It's one of those weird things. There's too many dogs, I think, just generally. Too many dogs for such a small area. It's like 5 dogs per household. There isn't, but as an example, it seems to be a lot. And there's a few problematic ones. He can be a problem if he's off the lead, only because of his excitement. You know, if he's off the lead, he's never off the lead now. But if he saw a dog the other side of the road, he'll just run across the road. In fact, he'll just run across the road at any opportunity. Even with the lead on, he tries to run in the road. I've really, really attempted to train him since I've had him. He just doesn't listen to anything I say. He was 10 months old when I got him, and I think he's very stubborn, stud-born. So I am looking forward to the light getting a bit lighter, as it is every day now. It's gradually getting lighter, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Especially in the evenings and in the mornings, really. The mornings I'm not so worried about because I don't have to take him out early. He's usually quite good till about 8 or 9. And by then it's generally light anyway. In the evenings, because it's kind of light, it's dark by about that's a bit phlegmy, by about 4:30, I think, in the afternoon. But as we get through this month and then into next month, it won't be long before it's light until 6 and then 7, and so it's good. That's the thing. I'm not bothered about the heat, about it being warmer. We know what heat means. No, I don't. I'm just saying I'm not that bothered about that because the cold hasn't been too cold. It's had a few cold days, but hasn't affected me too much. It's a shock when it happens because we seem to go from being not very warm to absolutely stonkering cold. Absolutely but there's no, in this country that doesn't seem to be I don't know why I'm looking over there. In this country, there seems to be some kind of no intermedium. It's like one or the other. But then it isn't really, because it can be either mild or really hot or really cold or really wet or really dry or really mild. So I guess mild would be the intermedium, wouldn't it? I don't know what it is about English people. And I'm not sure if it's the same in other parts of the United Kingdom. But talking about the weather it's my inheritance. It's genetic for English people to talk about the weather. From what I understand, and all over the country, I've lived a little bit around, I've met people, and it's talking about the weather, commenting on the weather is standard procedure. So yeah, I don't mind it actually. There's not much. I'm not really sure what the culture is. That's why, for me, that's one of the cultural things of being English. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what else it is. Because a lot of the things that I grew up, I wasn't really a big fan of some of the cultural things that I was grown into, that I, in the 70s. So I'll keep the weather. I'll keep them moaning about the weather or talking about the weather. That's fine. Some of the other stuff, it's just that this country, it was never, and I'm not sure if I noticed this. I think I did when I was a kid. It's not the most optimistic mindset or positive mindset as a group. Even the way that people talk, or used to talk, some people talk, how I used to be around people, and they say, how you doing? Not too bad. And even I speak to my dad. You right, Dad? Yeah, how are you getting on? Well, I'm still above ground. It's like, okay. It's I mean, it's a funny line, but it's not so funny these days. His wife told him off the other day, stop saying that to people. But I kind of know where he's coming from. That's like the English humour is to be, I think it's gallows humour, they call it, don't they? Is making light of something that's quite difficult, maybe. Telling jokes when it's inappropriate, but it's not really at the expense of someone else. It's more to help to get through it. Yeah. I mean, I've worked in places where if someone had an accident and they hurt themselves, let's say maybe lost a leg or something, everyone will start calling them Kermit or Hopalong Bob or whatever. And it was just, it's not even being horrible. It's just because, to their face, I mean, as well, not just behind their back. I'm talking like that's what their name would be. It's almost like a way of dealing with stuff, maybe. And because it could happen to anyone, couldn't it? So there was a lot of nicknames I used to see when I was working in my early 20s. And there'd be like two people called Terry. Which Terry? Can you go and ask Terry if he can bring out order number 43 from the freezer, because I worked in this storage place. Which Terry? Fat Terry. Okay. So on my first day, first of all, I'm trying to find who Terry is. Now I've got to find two Terrys. I've got to find the fat one. And, that's not a good way to describe someone, obviously. But, I was young and like, okay, that's how they deal with each other. And what are we saying? So I said, oh, can you get me order number one? And I said, are you Terry? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, you can, Steve wanted you to go and get this thing. So I'd go off and he'd come in with a forklift, dropping it off. And Steve, the boss, would say, wait a minute, that's not who I asked you to get it from. I asked you to get our Fat Terry to get it. I said, I did it, huh? She said, follow me. And he led me around to the bank, where they load lorries. And he introduced me to Fat Terry, who was really skinny, like really, really skinny. His name was Terry. So he was Fat Terry. And guess what the other one's name was? Skinny Terry. And then there was two Bobs. And this was even more confusing. I'm not even joking here. There was two Bobs. One was from the Caribbean, and the other one was Danish. So one was very fair-skinned, and the other one wasn't so fair-skinned. Both called Bob. Guess which one was called White Bob? Why? I don't get why. They just... Isn't that why we have surnames? Luckily, there's only one ginger person, so they just called him Ginge. There was one called Bungalow, and they called him Bungalow because he had such a big willy. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's like Bungalow Bill, they called him, because they used to get changed in front of each other because of the kind of job it was. And they called him Bungalow Bill, short for William. And there was, I'm sure there was someone called Sick Note. Yeah, now that was the insurance. They called someone Sick Note because he was just always off, constantly, always off. Sick Note. And I had a lot of time off. Well, not a lot of time off, but I had some time off when I was working due to stress and stuff. But every time a new illness came out, he would have it. He was either really unlucky, or he spent a lot of time looking in the medical dictionary. And he literally, everything he got, he just continuously. Now, I don't know, I think he was a bit of a blagger, because he was very clever, very devious. But, yeah, I know. It's weird. It's one of those things where, do you ever hear a lot about someone and you think, oh, I don't want to meet this person? I've heard too much about them. I kind of don't like them already. It's bad, but I'd rather not meet them. But he was one of these people. But he was coming back to work, and I'd been there for about 6 months, and he was a regular person that worked there. I'd just never seen him. And he came back, and he ended up being one of my best friends in the place. And it was very funny. He was what did he? I'm sure I heard him say to a customer on the phone once, "I thought we were friends," because the customer didn't want to buy the insurance. I heard him say it once. I thought we were friends, because he'd been on the phone for a while, and we had very similar kind of techniques as far as building rapport and being on the phone for a lot longer than anyone else. But we got the sales. Some people could be on the phone for a short time and get through so many calls that they would also get a lot of sales. It's like a numbers game for them. But my conversion was pretty much 25% sales. Quote to sale, not call to sale. Call to sale was about 15%, because we got so much muck coming through. So much people phoning in saying, yeah, I'd like a new carpet, please. Like, that's nice. I just, or if another department wasn't open yet, they just transfer the calls through to us. Yet we would get penalised on that, saying, well, your call to sale is not good enough, or your call to quote. So you'd have a call to quote. So we had to quote every, at least 75%. We needed to quote 75% of the calls, which I understand why they did it, but that was what they promised the company that they were working for. And it's very hard to keep that up when we're getting calls from a different department. When people are calling for the customer service, or they're calling for the motorbike department, or they're calling because they've got a claim, or they're calling because they're broken down on the side of the road. Things like that. Can't quote them. Can't, or they're calling just because they need to change something on the policy. Oh, you need to take off your husband because you've split up. You're not with him anymore. You need to take him off the insurance. Okay, well, I can't do that myself, but I can put you through to the other department or arrange a call back for you because that department's not open yet. Is that okay? While I've got you here, do you want to change your insurance? You'd like to have another quote for a different insurance? Maybe you'd like to buy a new car. 25% sales conversion per quote. So out of every 4 quotes, I'd get a sale. I had the highest conversion of anybody at the time. And this was consistent the whole time I worked in that place anyway. I'm not sure what my conversion was in other places, but in that place, 25%. And some people were selling more than me, and they were getting maybe 17% or 14% quote to sale, because they'd get through a quotation so quickly. Blah, blah, what's your name? Blah, 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 blah. That's the price. Do you want it? No, buy. I discovered though, there's a difference between people that were really good at the job and people that were okay at the job. And a lot of that was just attitude, to be honest. And the people that were really good are the ones that really wanted it. They wanted to do well. They really wanted the sale. They wanted the bonus and all that stuff. For those that didn't want it, they wouldn't get it. People that just turned up because they were happy with it. Actually, anyone that was happy with the basic money, the basic salary, which was 12.5 grand when I first started the job. Anyone that was happy, no, it's 12 grand. Anyone that's happy with 12 grand, £12,000, weren't really going to get many sales. So what the company did was use them as hitting that target, because they had a higher target of call to quote, even though they wouldn't get many sales. So they would fill that gap in, because I'd create that gap by spending ages on the phone. So I needed someone to answer the phone and get through. And also, because I was on the phone for so long, I didn't get many of the other crappy calls either that were wanting people that were phoning up because they needed a cow milking or whatever. So I'd be on the phone for an hour sometimes. Hard to believe that I could talk for an hour, but I can. I did used to be able to. I'm very, very, very verbally shy these days. Very conscious about. I'm drinking water and I just don't want to be having gunk around my mouth. I shouldn't have anyway, but just ugh. come to the conclusion, I've realised that why some people have that gunk around their mouth, it's because they've got a dry mouth. And I could feel, just have more water, man, have more water. But the reason why people, as they get older, don't have more water is because they have to keep going to the toilet. So it's a natural instinct, it's like to stop drinking as much water, or liquids, otherwise you keep having to do a wee-wee. But then it leaves you with a dry mouth, which can cause other problems. So what I do is I just do it on the floor. I don't think have I ever done that? No, I haven't. It's weird that I have to actually think about it. No, I haven't. Last time I wet myself was probably when I was 14. Yeah, 13, 14. That was the last time. And that was just because I was scared. So yeah, it wasn't anything. It wasn't due to a weak bladder. I mean, I did used to wet the bed, I think. Not since I've lived here. No, I used to wet the bed when I was a little kid, but I think it's standard. Some kids wet the bed sometimes. It's just a thing. It's some people sleep, you know. I'm not giving. Oh, blimey, I should not mention stuff like that when I'm doing a recording like this. You know, when we're little kids, that is. All right, I'll move on from that. Looking forward to Christmas. I am. I want to make this year different. I really do. And I'm not sure. Well, I feel like I am doing a little bit different because I'm making videos again. And that's kind of a step forward, kind of. And I suppose the more I do it, the more comfortable I am getting. The problem is I can't really use well, I suppose I could use the tablet. I can't kind of reach over and use the laptop whilst I'm this current setup. But you know, it'll change. I'll maybe progress, who knows. You know, I was tested. At the moment, I've got such little faith in this new setup working that I have to test it a few times before I accept or have some faith, some trust that the video will work. And the audio and everything, all the connection will work together because it's a new thing that I'm doing. Earlier on, before I started this particular recording, this particular session, 3 times I tried and I couldn't even get any sound. Eventually, I realised that the mute button, you know, which you press to unmute, was almost invisible. Why? I don't know. And then it was going or and I'm like, I don't sound like that, do I? No wonder people fall asleep. You can make yourself really calm. No, I didn't know. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was recording on slow motion. The video was slow motion. I didn't even know you could record on slow motion. I don't know why I would need really long to record slow motion. I don't know why. Oh, by the way, I did a Q&A Friday yesterday, and I don't know if anyone's listened to it. I mean, I know people have listened to it, but it's one of those things where I ended up talking about my day because I'd had a particular busy day, and I did get on. I did do the questions, but there was a lot of yabba yabba dabba dabba beforehand, so it was a little bit different from my normal Q&A Friday. Although, thinking about it, how often do I start a Q&A Friday? And I've been doing them for 7, 8 months now. How often do I do them where I just get straight into the questions? Possibly never. There's always a pre-ramble. There's always an introduction and stuff like that. By the way, check out my website. It's really groovy. It is. I haven't done much with it no, actually, that's not true. I did. This week, just gone, because it's Saturday now, I searched through the internet for all the places where my recordings, my podcasts are played. All the different apps and not just like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but also, I mean, TuneIn's kind of gone now. There's a few that have gone. Google Podcasts is gone now. There's a few that aren't around anymore. There's some that are still around, but they're not taking new podcasts. They're just leaving things as they were. So they're kind of winding down. So I don't know if that means podcasting is kind of starting to dip a little bit, maybe. I mean, there was a time when it's probably about 2018, or 2019 maybe, it really picked up, and over those 2-3 year period, or let's say 19, 20, 21, it was a really busy time for podcasts. And I think over the last few years it's slowed down a bit. I mean, it's slowed down for me, which is weird because I was hoping it would have been increased. It's not slowed down like a huge amount, but then my podcasts that I had before, I lost a lot of the stuff because I had music and wonderful ideas. I had music, but I lost a couple of my podcasts because of the music, because it wasn't the correct music. So I'm still with Spreaker, but I kind of moved over to SoundCloud for about a year, maybe 2 years. And then I came back to Spreaker. Still got the SoundCloud podcasts as 2. But Spreaker now allows me, or podcasters, to use their music. So that's what I do. I use their music, and therefore I'm playing the game. Now, if they'd have provided that service 3 years ago, or 2003, 2004, 2000, I think it was the end of 2000, about September 2003. If they'd have provided that service then, I could have I would have had to have redone a lot of stuff, but I could have done that without losing the podcast. But it's okay. I was trying to delete the ones of music as quickly as possible, but I didn't, because I had so much stuff. I ended up not doing it in time, and a couple of podcasts were gone. So I had to kind of start again with them. I still had the recordings, most of them. I lost a few recordings. but hopefully, it's kind of like felt like I've had to rebuild, as it were. And now I feel like I'm on the right, kind of on the right track again. It's a case of just seeing how it goes. I'm still probably, what did I work out? I still had over 2 million downloads in the last year. So, that podcast downloads. So that's all right. There was a time I was getting, sure I was getting 5 million a year. I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, I do lose track. But I'm hoping that by the end of this year, but 2025, I will have improved, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word. I mean, maybe this is good as it's as good as it's ever going to be. Maybe I've reached my peak. That's possible, bearing in mind how old I am. I mean, I was like 63 when I started, and that was 18 years ago. So yeah. I always used to think when I was younger. I did a lot of thinking when I was younger. In fact, most of the thinking I ever did was when I was younger. I used to think that, what would be my most peaky time, like prolific, most creative, most productive? And this was probably when I first started doing this online, I was 35 years old. I'm now 54. So 2006, I started thinking, I reckon probably around the age of like 39, 40, I started thinking, I reckon my most prolific time will be between maybe 55 and 65, or 50 and 60, or 50 and 65, between that, and then maybe start to, probably, 55 to 65, and then maybe start to just semi-retire from, even though this isn't a job, but just, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea, it's weird really, but it's the idea of being able to just do this wherever I am, wherever I live, wherever in the world, where if I'm visiting somewhere, and I can just do this and just make a recording, upload it, do one every day. Because ideally, I'd like to do a let me boy to sleep every day, but I'd like to also do something else. Make I don't know, whether it's a pain relief recording or a relaxation recording, or whether it's a sleepy, boring objects recording. I don't know. But just something a little bit different. But do the let me bore you to sleep each day. I know there's going to be some days I miss, like I missed Thursday 2 days ago. But I was just knackered from just constant. It was so noisy that day. It was so active that come the evening I didn't want to do anything. And although I don't normally make recordings in the evening as much as during the day, I prefer the daytime. Usually. But I had a bit of a nap earlier, so I kind of feel like I'm partially awake. So yeah, it might be just if I can get used to being back on the screen, being back on seeing my funny face on YouTube, then yeah, I will probably continue with the videos. But I definitely intend to continue with the podcasts, which this is that as well. I also need to do some sit-ups because my belly is in need of shrinking. I'm not in a position where I'd need to take a tablet, one of those tablet things. So I wouldn't want to do that. I would, if I had to, I would, but I don't. I'm not like in that position. But I definitely need to start toning up my body, get myself a little bit more firmer around the old belly button area. Oh yes, I've got a hernia in my belly button as well. A hernia, and that's just apparently it's quite normal for people of my size, especially people that like I used to be slim. It's just, I guess it's like a normal, like being pregnant really. Okay, but what I mean by that is my body, my belly has expanded too big, much bigger than it's ever done before. The difference with pregnancy is, it only stays like that for like 9 months. Mine's staying like that for 9 years. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. But although I have lost weight, I want to be able to, I want loose skin flapping around, which I haven't got at the moment, but so I'm trying to lose weight and trying to get toned up slowly. But at the same time, I also like to, I'm not bothered about stretch marks because I might already have them, I just can't see them anyway. But yeah, I'm thinking more of the summer. At the moment, generally I don't go out in the summer with a t-shirt on. I do have a t-shirt on, but quite often I'll have a jacket on or something else, and people will say, or like a sweat top. Aren't you hot? Aren't you hot? It's like, what's it got to do with you? Actually, I am hot. That's why I'm sweating. Why don't you wear a t-shirt? Ironic thing is, if I came out of a t-shirt, you'd be saying to me, can't you cover up? Can't you put something on, like a sweat top? A bin bag? It's like, I can't win. So I'm thinking it's uncomfortable for me to be wearing like a tank top, not a tank top, but like a tracksuit top, whatever, with a hoodie or whatever like that. And it's a bit too thick for the summer. So it's uncomfortable for me, but what about everyone else's eyes that have to look at me if I'm wearing a t-shirt? It's not fair on them. So I like to be considerate, if at all possible. He's so funny. He's lying down on the floor, facing that way. And he's got something stuck to the end of his nose. So it's a bit of packaging or a bit of foam or something from the floor. And it's just stuck on his nose. I'll get it off him later. Bless him. He knows I'm talking about him because he'll turn around in a minute. Won't you? He will. Maybe not. So I think it's the 18th, yes. Yeah, 18th of January, Saturday, the 18th of January, 2025. So we're halfway through the month. Well, blimey. Yeah, over halfway through, because what's 7th? It's a 31-day month though, isn't it? So 31 times by 2, 31, so it's 62 days. 62 days is half of the month. So there's only 18 gone so far. 31, 15, 15 is 30, so 15 and a half days. So 15 and a half days, 16 and a half days, 17 and a half days. So this is 2.5 days over the halfway mark. And before we know it, it'll be February. And the good thing about it is he's still got that thing stuck on his nose. Bless him. Oh, is it falling off now? Vinny, it's falling off. He's got a little love heart on his nose. You're a good boy, aren't you? You're clever. You're a clever boy. Oh no, I've given him attention now. He wants, what do you want now? You've had your dinner. You had a treat. Oh, he's like, treat. What? I wish I could show you him. I need to get a Vinny cam. Like it's a little camera so I can just switch it on him. He's like that. Oh, he's begging. What is it, Vin? What is it? He keeps going like that. What is it, Vin? What is it? What is it, baby? What I might do is use a different camera and in these occasions film it, and then when I do the video I'll splice it in so you can see him. What is it, baby? What is it, darling? What is it? Oh, really? I was trying to think, what did I hope to accomplish this month? It wasn't half-hearted, but I did intend to do a recording each day, which I kind of have in a sense, because those days when I haven't made a recording, I think other days I've done maybe 2. So maybe I may well have made 18 recordings this month. How can I work it out? I'd have to get the iPad. Can I get the iPad without? Then now you can see more stuff on the floor. Stop it. Oh. Wait there. Okay, I'll have a look on the iPad and see. AirDrop. Stop it. So let's have a look. So January, this month. Let's see how many recordings I've done. So the first one I did was on the 1st of January. Happy New Year. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is my 19th recording. Wow. In fact, I think there's more than that. It's been noisy. Where's the Spanish ones I did? Where's my Spanish ones? Mind you, yeah, it doesn't count because I did the English version, so yeah. So this would be, I've done 18 recordings. with 19. This will be the 19th recording this year so far, or to this month. So, yeah, it's not too bad, is it? What's the time? It's 8 o'clock. So technically, if I get to the end of this month and I've done 31 recordings, then I have kind of stuck to my one a day. Even if it wasn't each individual day, I've seen a loophole. Squeezing through that little hole of loop. Yeah. That makes sense to me. So at the end of the year, I mean, it's what? There's over 160 days in a year. So if I've got 160 recordings, then I'll have done one each day of the year. Can't argue with that. So maybe that's the way I'll look at it. So technically, I'm ahead. I'm not behind. I'm ahead. I should only have 18 done, although I have only had... I mean, at the end of this day, I should have only done 18, but I've actually done 19. Yeah, that makes sense. You feel I should get some dark glasses and a hat, a beanie hat. Isn't it weird to think that in 6 months' time, well, not 6 months, what is it now? February, March, April, May. So literally in 4 months' time, less than 4 months' time, maybe even 3 months' time, maybe even less, it's going to be seriously hot. There'll be at least one hot day. In April, I've got sunburn in the past in April. And I'll be in here in May like, it's so hot. Oh, just showing a little bit of my chest, and everyone will be going wild. And, we showed some of his chest. And it'll be hot. And it's like, do you remember when it wasn't? It's light outside, it's bright. Remember when it was all dark and now it's light? And we're all going to act surprised, and I'll be walking around the field with Vinny, and I'll be talking to other dog owners, and they'll be saying, yeah, it's too hot, isn't it? Yeah, it's too hot. Oh, it's too bright. Moaning about the weather. That's our job. I was thinking, I'll run this through past you. I was thinking of maybe doing a weekly Jason Chats vlog, but what it will encompass is the week. So I'll do like a video every day, and I'll put it into 1 week's blog, or one week's video at the end of the week. And maybe have clips of me putting my socks on and other exciting things like that. Maybe brushing my hair. You know what? Earlier on, I got up. It was a previous recording to this, and it's not on a cam. Well, it was filmed, but I didn't show it. I got up and I went over there. I don't know why I went over there, and I just couldn't believe what I looked like. I mean, it's not just the body, not just my big fat bum, but it's the hair, the thing. I've got this. It almost looks right. from a distance, it must be the camera's lying to me. It looks like I've got a bald patch right on the back of my head at the top. No, you know, the only person to ever tell me that was my friend downstairs. No one told me that I had a bald patch. And that didn't just come overnight. It didn't like just arrive in the post on a Tuesday morning. It you know, no one told me. He just said, he started just laughing at me. And I didn't believe him. Didn't believe him, even though he told me. It was only when I was in a lift in a... Well, no, I actually caught it on a camera once. But even then, I didn't believe my own eyes. You know, but I was in a lift in a hotel a few years back. Surround sound mirrors, you know, up on the ceiling, I think even on the floor, just mirrors everywhere. And wherever I looked, all I could see was that bald patch. It just followed me, like Mona Lisa's moustache, just followed me. And I couldn't believe. And I didn't have really short hair either. I never have long hair these days, but it was hair. I had hair. And it looks even worse when I've got hair, the bald patch. Like, because it's like the ocean. You got all these different kind of continents and stuff. And there's a big bit of ocean there. If you look, you can see little boats. See the odd whale poking its head out. Yeah. It's weird because back in 2003, I used to shave my head. 2004, I started shaving my head with a wet razor, like properly to the bone. 2003, I would just do it with a whatever called shears or whatever, so it was kind of this length. But 2004, I was getting rid of all of it. And I used to say to people, don't care if I go bald, makes no difference to me. Look at me now, I'm bald. It's, you know, I've done this and it's not going to bother me at all. You know, if I have a bald patch, I don't care. I was wrong. I was wrong. No, I kind of... I think it doesn't matter sometimes. You know what I mean? But other times, like, okay. See, I don't care that I'm not particularly tall. I'd love to be tall. I'd love to be 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", or whatever. I'd love to be that kind of height. But I'm less than that. I'm not going to say how tall I am. I'm 5'3". No, I'm not. I'm 5'8", 5'9", 5'8"-ish. Let's say 5'8". Yeah, it'd be brilliant to be a foot taller. Be great. But I'm not, and that's it. I can't do anything about that. I got size 10 shoes. I can't do anything about the size, you know, that's the size my feet are. I can do something about my weight. I got a weird pink face. There's not, I mean, I could wear makeup, but I've inherited this face. So there's not a huge amount I can do about it. I don't like it. I wish I was pale or dark. I'd rather be like really pale or like brown skin rather than just pink red skin. Because no, I'm not white, I'm pink. What do you mean? Look at me. It's just like, it's just, constantly look drunk, but I'm not. I burn in the winter. Honestly, I can get sunburn in the winter. I know. Well, I'll get sunburn when I'm skiing on the Alps. I'm not talking about on a mountain. I'm talking about in a well. I don't know about a well. I don't stand in wells anymore. But it's like that's something I don't have a lot of. There's not a lot I can do about. And as far as like losing, I mean, it's smooth. This isn't smooth. This is smooth where it's been receding. This isn't smooth. That's where there's hair growing. That is almost like an ice rink. Be a weird looking ice rink. But yeah, it is just smooth. Like something, I don't know, something that's smooth, I guess. Like my singing voice. Please release me, let me go. So yeah. The thing is, some people's some men's suit being bald. They just, they do. Some people look better bald than they do with hair. I used to know someone, and he'd let his hair grow, and he had a beard, and it was a lot of grey in his beard, and every now and then he'd shave it all off, and he looked so much younger. He just did. I mean, I know that whole, you look 10 years younger with those socks on or that tie on. Oh, that new hearing aid makes you look 3 months younger. It's like, what? A weird thing to say. I've had friends say stuff like that. Oh, that new jumper. And I say, stop. Does it make me look 100 years younger? I was like, stop saying silly things like that. Of course it doesn't. But you look so much younger with your hair. Like, I think it's worse, actually. I went to the petrol station, and this was after we had to stop wearing masks. During that period of having to wear masks, I let my beard grow really big. Like the most biggest it's ever been. And I don't think I even let it grow that big when I was younger. I mean, that was when I was younger, but like even in my 20s, I don't think I let my beard grow. And in my 30s, I never really had a beard, hardly. I did, but it was always trimmed because I was working. I let it grow a little bit, but there's a video of me. If you go on YouTube, you'll find it. There's a couple of videos of me. Huge beard, like right out there. It's one of the older ones, but right, honestly. Anyway, I go in to the petrol station, and instead of saying, oh, you look so much better now. She said, God, you looked awful before. You looked absolutely, it was horrible before. I couldn't look at you. What? She said, I was awful. I'm so glad you shaved that horrible thing off. Bearing in mind, I was wearing a mask. So apparently, I was one of the only people with a mask on that I had to wear 4 masks to cover up the beard. She said, you look like someone's groin that's wearing pants that are too tight. And the hairy bits were just sticking out the side, like the beard there. And I said, well, that's a nice visual. Nice visual to end my podcast episode on. She said, oh, still struggling to say whole words and sentences, are you? I said, well, you just struggled to say you're still struggling. She said, no, but they're still your words though, aren't they? I said, yeah, so. She said, still doing podcasts, are you? I said, yeah. How's it going? All right. How are you getting on? How come you're not retired yet? You're about 90, aren't you? That's what you should say to someone. You know, if someone gets a new haircut, it's like, wow, you look 30 years older. Just see what their response is. Don't say it really, not horrible way, but just wow. And I notice when people have the haircut sometimes. It's a weird thing. I don't know why. But if someone's had a haircut, or maybe they've had some ice cream, that's usually because it's all over their face or down the top. Basically, that's how I eat ice cream. And yeah, I do notice things sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to notice things, but I do. And it just bugs me. For no reason. That's why, right? What am I thinking of? Okay, there's a movie called... It's got Jason Bateman in, and it's based in an airport. It's a really good movie. Okay. It's a recent, it's a newish movie. I'm not going to spoil the plot, but to be fair, if you watch a trailer, you'll see this anyway, this bit. But he puts an earphone, like a communication device, in his ear. And he's around people, and not one person notices. In fact, he's in a room full of police and everything. Not one person notices he's got this thing in his ear. I'd notice. I would. I'd notice. But no one noticed. I mean, to be fair, I might be a little bit distracted the fact that Jason Bateman's in the room. It's like, wow, I've watched so much stuff. I've got questions. First of all, how come you have not aged? How can you still look the way you look, considering you're 130 years old? He's been around. He was around before my nan was born. Jason Bateman. Seriously. He has been around a long time. He was in, for those that don't remember, Jason Bateman was Teen Wolf 2. You know, Michael J. Fox one, he was in the second one of that. He was Teen Wolf 2, Jason Bateman. He also was at Family Ties, where he kind of followed in the steps of Michael J. Fox. So Michael J. Fox was in a sitcom before he was famous as an adult, before he did Back to the Future and all that stuff. So he was in a sitcom. Jason Bateman was also in a very kind of family sitcom. And then he went on to do movies and other things and other sitcoms, and he's literally been around as an actor for over probably 40 years. And he doesn't even look 50, I would say. He's just a bit like, not Bob Dylan, Matt Dillon. Yeah, Bob's son, Matt Dillon. Just how? I know genetics and stuff, but wow, just... Maybe it's just they can... I don't know. He's been around forever, Jason Bateman. And I've always liked him. I've always been, he hasn't done anything I've not liked. And he's good at playing horrible people as well as nice people. But he was always a little bit grumpy. Not always, but he was quite good at playing that kind of bit of a grumpy character. He wasn't over the top. It's not one of those, you got Jim Carrey, and it's over the top kind of humour, really wild and loud, and he was very more just almost was happy for other people to take the limelight as well. He didn't need the limelight for himself, even though he was really good at what he did. I kind of know what I'm trying to say, but probably not saying it very well, other than I think he's groovy. Jason Bateman is groovy, and it's something, I don't know. I don't know what it is, what the reason I like him. I just got such a great name. You've got to support the Jasons in this world. That's been my philosophy for a long time. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Now, he knows that when I say this, it means I'm coming to the end. So what I'll do is I'll see whether or not he starts reacting. As soon as I say goodbye and that stuff, I'll leave the video going and see whether he reacts. So thanks for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. Lots of love. Bye.